Welcome back to It's Not a Sport. Alright, welcome to part 2 of our E3 episode. Um, we're just gonna move right into it with my rant. We talk about the rest of the show of E3, from Sony to Bethesda to Nintendo. And then I also talk about my experience actually attending the conference as well. So let's move on to that. Alright, so attending the conference, it was interesting. It was for a first timer, and this is the second time E3 has been open to the public. It was very overwhelming, so to speak. They were not prepared for how many people showed up. I believe that they oversold tickets. Just to tell you that the first day was literally chaos. Lines were always capped, which they would close off lines, so there would be lines to get into lines. So it was very overwhelming, and they definitely oversold tickets. Which, why wouldn't they? So, the first game I got to play was Destiny 2's Gambit game mode for Forsaken, which comes out in September. I just really needed, when I first got there, I just really needed to get into a line because I was so overwhelmed. And so I just got in this line, and it was a 2.5 hour line, which is ridiculous. It was an Activision booth, so it was Destiny on one side, Call of Duty on the other. And then they actually had like a little small mini booth as well, where Sony's big booth was. And Sony didn't really have anything playable this year other than Spider-Man, which I actually did get to play. But Activision was by far the worst. But before I get into that, I just kind of want to talk about Destiny 2 as a game. When they announced Destiny 2, they were saying, we want to remake this game to so we can pump out more content for you guys. We said okay. Somewhere along the lines, it got like reworked and redeveloped or something like that, and we got the game that we now currently have, or we had before the 2 expansions. So Vanilla Destiny 2. Everyone loved it at first. I call it, it's called the honeymoon period. Everyone loved it. And then afterwards, it started falling off. People weren't really enjoying it. They were realizing that there are tons of problems. They were realizing that this wasn't the Destiny that they wanted. They're realizing that there are a ton of items in the cash shop, and then there's a bunch of scandals, like the whole EXP thing, and it just wasn't a good game. And even now, so then after that, we got Curse of Osiris, which was the first expansion. It was awful. It was, can't even call it DLC. It was not worth the, whatever they priced it at. It was literally awful. And they knew it was awful, but they still gave it to us. People were pissed about that. And I'm pissed about that. Then we move on to Warmind, which has been out for over a month now. And the game's still now a little bit better because there's the exotic catalyst, and that gives people something to grind for. So, and now we're moving on to Forsaken. So basically, history kind of repeated itself with the first Destiny. If you know anything about the first Destiny, the vanilla was bad, which I enjoyed the vanilla, surprisingly. But the vanilla was bad. Then the second DLC, then the third DLC got better, and then they released Taken King, and that was the golden age of Destiny. It seems like they're doing that same business model. I don't know who fucked up Destiny 2, whether it was Activision or Bungie, but who knows. So I'm getting in this line to play Forsaken, and I really want high hopes for this game. Lines forever. It's 2.5 hour line. They're taking, it was best out of 3 games to play this Gambit mode, and the Gambit mode as a whole was kind of fun. But out of all the other, they were experimenting with people, the first group, and like you didn't have enough time to really play with like the new bow archetype, which I felt with the barely any time I used it was underwhelming. And then what got me is that like they said, oh, we don't want you to take any pictures of our screen because we want high res content out there, which made no fucking sense to me. Because everyone else, every other line I stood in, did not care. They wanted you to play the game. They wanted you to enjoy the game. So that just kind of crushed my hopes for Forsaken even more. And I still play Destiny. I know I'm somewhat enjoy it, but it's nowhere near the original Destiny, and I don't think it will ever be near the original Destiny. This Forsaken just seems kind of like a last attempt. Like literally, they're kind of forsaking Destiny too. Like there's some sort of pun there. So yeah, and the game mode's kind of fun. The team I was playing against sucked, and the team guys I was playing with, were decent. So we just, smashed them, and I didn't have really any time to like really experience it because it was best out of 3. And so they were by far the worst booth that I got to play. Even some dude in the Uber said that he was standing in line for Call of Duty, and they're just taxing people who are, kind of more important, making them skip the entire line process, just because, maybe they work for, some high-end, like, IGN or something like that. So Activision was by far the worst line that I stood in. They were complete dog shit, bad service, and it just makes you think, like, what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to, please the player base, or are you just trying to scam us like, EA and everyone else? Moving on from there, at the end of the day, I got to play Smash, and Nintendo by far had the best booth. They had people standing out line telling you if the line was capped, telling you where the line started. They're moving people along. They're just counting you off. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. You guys play Smash. And they knew that Smash was their main audience. They knew that that's what people came to play at E3 because that was their big announcement. They're really pushing the esports scene because they had the invitational in the morning before it started. So they were really pushing it, and they were just getting people moving. It was great. It was they were the best by far. Everyone after the first day started following their example. Smash it's a lot of fun. I'm really actually looking forward to playing it because I never really got to play Smash. I got to play Smash 4 a little bit, but I was never really I enjoyed it, but I never really got to play it. It's bringing everything. I think on the Switch, it's going to be a great addition. They're really going all out with it, and they're really going balls deep with it. The game was fun, even though I was getting my ass whooped, so I was a little distracted by that. But it was still a lot of fun, and Nintendo was by far the best booth. It was crazy. If you see the pictures on the Instagram, it was so much fun. So that was the first day. The second day of E3, I wasn't really around that much. I did really more of the LA thing. So we're gonna skip the second day. Third day, however, I got to play Spider-Man and Kingdom Hearts. Spider-Man, after the Destiny was the only line that I stood in a line to get in that to get into the line to get into that game. That was the only game I did that. Every other game I just walked into the line. Spider-Man, it was a 15-minute demo. It was, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. But if you're thinking it's gonna be an Arkham game, don't. Spider-Man is not Batman. He's not as badass as Batman. You know, he's not as brutal as Batman. He doesn't have as cool gadgets as Batman. You know, he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not the Dark Knight. So it's a fun game. I think you know, that was the only playable game Sony had. I wish The Last of Us Part 2 was playable, but it wasn't. Sony has a lot of, you know, cool games that they look like that's in the works, but not too much to play, which is why their press conference was like, you know, it was really cool. Like, maybe I think Xbox One and then Sony would be like right after this time around, but you know, if they didn't have anything to show at their booth really, except some more Activision shit, because you know they're in bed with each other, and Spider-Man. The Spider-Man was still a lot of fun. And then after Spider-Man, I got to play Kingdom Hearts. Square Enix should have anticipated this, but they didn't. Kingdom Hearts line was always full. It was always full. It was always capped. You could not get in there. I was one of the last groups to play. I was determined, and I knew that fate was on my side, and I got to play that game. But it was so hard to, you know, get into. Unless you made a reservation beforehand, you were not getting into that line. But it was a lot of fun. It was a 20-minute long demo. I got to play Toy Story and Mount Olympus, like the Olympus Coliseum, but it's actually now Mount Olympus now, and you got to fight a Titan. Oh boy. My only problem with it is that like the demo felt like you're stronger than you should have been. Like they gave you a bunch of fancy toys to play with just to show like this is what you're gonna, you know, be getting when you get the game. But you feel like you shouldn't have that yet, so you're kind of two-shotting, one-shotting most of the enemies. I had to skip the cutscenes because there was like 8-minute long cutscenes, but it was so much fun. But Square Enix did not anticipate the audience as Nintendo did for Smash. It was kind of like they had this big booth for Tomb Raider, and then they kind of had this kind of 50-50 booth with Final Fantasy 14 and Kingdom Hearts. Tomb Raider is cool. I'm sure people love Tomb Raider, but you know, most people who are grown up now really want to play Kingdom Hearts. So it was a lot of fun. So I think the biggest problem with the conference overall is that it was a lot of fun to go to, but it was just not organized well. This is the second year, so I'm cutting it some slack. But they did kind of the first day. My first kind of interpretation of it was like it was, you know, basically a scam. Because if you watch the ticket prices at all, the first like 1,000 people are going for $150, and then after that you have to get tickets for $250. So that's what we paid, and then they closed tickets. Then on the day of, they open them, but you have to pay $1,000 to get a 3-day pass on the day of. So they sold way too many tickets, which isn't a problem, right? But if you're gonna do that, you gotta, you know, compensate with the lines. Also, this kind of whole, they kind of try to keep it like a whole like trade show kind of professional thing. Like you can't like give your pass to somebody else. Like it has to have your pass on it, which seems kind of like bullshitty to me. But I guess I understand it because now it's more of a public event than like it was. But it just hasn't really evolved yet. I think it's still worth going to, but I don't think it's worth going to every year. I think you gotta know the years to go. I think you got to try and get into the actual press conferences, which are different. There are a lot of cool events going on. There's a lot of interesting people you can meet. I actually got to take a picture with Impact, who was the top laner for Team Liquid for League of Legends, which was really cool. I just saw him. I got to see Kojima too, and apparently Kojima's walking around on the last day. Uh, so yeah, it's overall, I do think that the conference was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but I do think it seems a little scammy, just for like the amount of, it's like Disneyland, but 10 times worse because they just don't have the management that they do at Disneyland to keep lines moving and just keep things going. But it is the second year that it's been open to the public, so hopefully it will get better. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next segment. We're just gonna continue on with our E3 coverage. We talk starting with Bethesda. Enjoy it. Let's go. All right, welcome back to E3 Part 2. I'm here with Callum, Tito, TJ, and Kane.
Howdy.
We're going right back into it, starting with Bethesda, starting with Fallout 76. What did y'all think?
Not really excited to be.
Cautiously optimistic.
I agree with that one. I thought, like, I think there's a couple things with this game. One, I feel like they're doing it to kind of kill off the mod community, which
kind of sucks.
Yeah, and they've always had like a battle with the mod community.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
Of all people, Bethesda has not been one to. They shut down the Skyrim Online because it directly competes with the Elder Scrolls, but modding in general, they've always been very open with and trying.
But you can't because you can't mod with Skyrim Special Edition.
Really?
You can't mod that.
I didn't know that. But I mean, they put modding on consoles. And they've
it's not. No. Let me rephrase it.
I thought they pulled that.
It's not modding that's the problem. It's modding and they're not getting paid.
Oh.
That's their problem.
Which is why they don't want to have an online version of it. Some of theirs because they have their Elder Scrolls Online.
Because there's a rumors that like Fallout 76 does have mod support. I don't know how that's gonna work, but it's probably one of those things where
about that, but I don't know what the answer was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm off. I don't know about this game. I mean, I would rather just have another Fallout, so to speak, than like this whole multiplayer big. They won't.
They've said that it's basically going to be a Fallout game where you can play with your friends if you want to, but it is first and foremost a Fallout game.
Right.
So if you don't want to play with people, you don't have to. Nothing is going to be tied to a world. It's all going to be your character.
But then here's like my counter argument for that is like they added that whole like nuke multiplayer aspect where you can like go nuke whoever the fuck you want as long as you have like launch codes.
That sounds fucking trolly as shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm serious.
That sounds awful. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's like you go farm these launch codes with your friends and then you can go nuke somebody's like shitty ass home that they built.
Oh my god. That's fucking awful.
So like that doesn't, that would be like a cool Fallout story mission, but they kind of sold that as like pure multiplayer. So I don't know.
That sounds awful. It's like the equivalent of just like having a friend that just DDoSes you. Like, hey, what's your IP number? Play with me. I'm gonna fucking.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think it could be interesting. I think I think it'll be fun for maybe the first 5 minutes, and then after that, who knows? So after Fallout 76, they had a whole bunch of kind of like spin-offs on other titles. They have like Doom Eternal. And then they had like Prey, Moon Crash, which I believe is basically prop hunt.
Oh yeah, pray.
Oh yeah.
And then they have their like Elder Scrolls mobile game,
Mobile.
which actually looks kind of cool.
Wow.
It looks kind of cool. They have Fallout Shelter was moved to the Switch and PS4. So
I don't know why.
they're also
That's-
suing.
Now too.
Yeah, they're it's on Steam too. Wow, they're also
Yeah.
suing Warner Brothers.
Wait, why?
Because they came out with a Westworld game that's apparently similar to Fallout Shelter.
Westworld?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not only similar, but it's made by the same devs who helped work on Fallout Shelter, and they're claiming they use some of the same code and basically like the base game that's kind of retextured. Because not only is it similar, because another company can make a very similar game, but it's the same company that
That's the
make
part
Fallout
that's.
Shelter is helping make the Westworld game, and
And since they hold, they were like the original, they have those like rights and shit.
The other
I don't know.
the other
I'm
games
assuming that's how it's working.
yeah. The other games they announced was Wolfenstein Youngblood, which I thought was the blood
It's
in me.
not what they're called, but
The blood in me thought that was a cool last name, Youngblood.
I thought that game. I didn't play New Order. It was the second one I think that was.
Yeah.
I didn't play the most recent one because it didn't excite me all that much and got terrible reviews.
wait, that is what it's called. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's called Youngblood.
The new one's pretty cool looking.
It's his daughters. It's his twin daughters you play as now.
And it can be multiplayer.
And then in the most recent one I thought wasn't that bad. I didn't play it, but I saw like some other people
I think
play
it was
it,
actually
and
decent, but it was one of those games. It was like Batman. It did not run on
PC well, bad ports.
PC very well.
Yeah, that ruins things. But I think Youngblood is honestly I didn't think it would be announced this soon, cause didn't the last one New Order like just came out like last year?
No, last year, so it would have been E3 before it was.
Yeah,
mean,
so it's pretty.
It's pretty quick, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah. And then one thing about Fallout 76, it comes out this year too. Which
Oh really?
Yeah, it comes out like October.
Bethesda's been kind of a lot of companies I've enjoyed have been going more towards the announce things when they're close to coming out.
Stealing from Nintendo.
3 years in a row, yeah, really.
Then they have Rage 2, which I honestly don't know anything about.
So excited for that game! It looks great.
Is this?
If you haven't played Rage 1 is actually a lot of fun, and it was for its time really amazing because they ran the textures in a different way. You didn't like Rage 1?
No, I just heard the opposite from like a lot of people saying that they didn't like the game.
I mean, here's the thing. I found the actual game a lot of fun. The ending was really disappointing and left a bad taste in my mouth, but the actual game, I played through that entire thing really quickly, and like it was one of those games where I would consistently go back to play that one when I sit down on my computer to play a game instead of picking up another one. Like the
Wait,
story
which
made
game?
me want to play it more, and it was a neat world, or like the driving didn't feel tacked on. It was actually enjoyable to drive the vehicles in that game. The
I didn't
combat
know
felt
there was
fun.
driving in that game.
I feel
and-
like I remember Rage.
Not to mention, it ran just absolutely awesome, and they used a different what are they called, mega textures. So basically, the game would have to load up once, and they render the textures in a way, and so instead of everything having its own textures, basically one giant ass texture over the entire world, which meant they could have really high res textures and everything that look amazing, but you wouldn't have any slowdown or wear and tear on your computer from the performance issues.
Oh wow, really? That's pretty
Interesting.
cool.
So the game was also fucking massive for the time. So this is like years ago. It was still like a 40 or 50 gig game, which is like
Yeah.
fuck me, that's a big game back then. But I really liked it. I've thought about even going back to replay it, but the new one looks just like an improvement on the old one.
Interesting, because I feel like I remember Rage when it first came out. I just don't like. I never, really played it.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It didn't seem to like catch a lot of hype when it first came out.
Oh, no, it was
They
like in
did.
that first-
They had what's his name perform for it at E3.
Andrew WK.
Yeah.
Oh god!
This year.
Hey, is that
So I was into that. I was like, yeah, dude, do it. Let's go. This is how we do it.
Oh,
That man was just like having a good time on stage. He did not give a shit. He was going.
Yeah.
I agree. Honestly, I give him props. He did not give a fuck. He was just having fun on stage. Even the people in the crowd who were like awkward staring at him.
Yeah, everyone else.
No one was into it. I felt kind of bad because nobody was. But he was
It
still
was like-
going at it.
No one's into like the Ubisoft dance things.
Oh, we'll get to that. We will get to that. We will flame the hell out of that.
Every year.
They do that
Just, like,
every
watching
year.
It was entertaining.
So yeah, Rage 2. Then they actually surprised us with a new IP, Starfield. We honestly have nothing about it. It was just a teaser. Looks like maybe Space Skyrim in
I'm
space.
into
Maybe.
That's probably what's probably gonna be. Let's see what they got. I'm digging it. Let's move on to actually something that really matters. We predicted it. I asked for it. I got it. I actually did not get it. I got a teaser of it. The Elder Scrolls 6, baby.
Yes.
You really
It's
wanted that
about
game.
fucking time.
We got a teaser.
We got-
a teaser for it.
Skyrim's very special edition, Skyrim special edition, Skyrim on the Switch, Skyrim HD, Skyrim. Am I missing any? Fucking Skyrim on the Rock, Skyrim on the Toaster,
Global.
and Skyrim Global. That's right, Tito. And now we finally can have the Elder Scrolls 6. It is about fucking time.
I'd still give it 3 years until it's actually here.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that. Like, but they
By the
definitely,
time it comes out.
they definitely need. Yeah, I'll be married. I'll have a family, and I forget about it. But they definitely just needed to like announce it, at least to like shut people up. They needed to announce it, and I'm happy they did. Because you can obviously tell, like, they probably have nothing, like, they have no ideas for it, but they just did, like, the little teaser trailer and some hills, some mountains.
No, it's in production.
Oh,
They wouldn't show it if they didn't actually have anything going for it yet. They've come out and said something hinted at it in the past.
yeah. I'm just happy it got announced. And, because, like, Skyrim was my first Elder Scrolls game. And I just didn't, that was like...
Have you gone back and played through the rest of them?
I have not. I want to, but I feel like I just get, like, they're so old school that I just couldn't deal with them, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, like, I hear Oblivion's supposed to be, like, really good, so maybe if I get the time, I'll play Oblivion. I want to go back and play Skyrim over again since it's been so long.
Dude.
I've honestly been tempted to buy it on the Switch. Who wouldn't want to just lay in bed and play Skyrim?
Yeah, but I feel like I would need the mods just a little bit. Because, I played OG Skyrim, like OG, like vanilla, and now I just want to play with the mods. That's kind of how I played Fallout
I
4.
can never play. That's the weird thing about me is I have a hard time playing with mods on things.
I get, like, a lot of visual mods. Like, not, like, huge game-changing mods.
Visual mods, mate.
Like, visual and quality of life mods is what I really get. So that's kind of it for Bethesda. I think they did some Elder Scrolls Online stuff. Doom Eternal. I'm pretty sure they did some VR stuff. I think this press conference was much better than Bethesda World. That weird shit that they did last year.
That was more as like, look at the things we've made, and
Yeah.
here's in one game.
Yeah, and I think what their best announcements, even though the Elder Scrolls 6 for me was second, the best announcement was, I can't believe I'm fucking saying this, Skyrim Very Special Edition, and how it's actually a thing on Alexa.
Wait.
Yes, Callum. Yes. Moving on, Square Enix.
NX.
People were mad about them because they didn't have anything to show, because they showed everything in their Xbox, and basically the Xbox press conference. I think they only had like Final Fantasy 14 and Monster Hunters kind of combo thing. The Quiet Man, which was a weird CGI live trailer. Who knows what the hell that is. And Babylon's Fall. Oh, and Dragon Quest, another Dragon Quest.
Lion's Fall.
Yeah. There's nothing to really say about Square Enix because they showed all this stuff in Xbox. Moving on to our second favorite company right after EA is Ubisoft, and
I don't know about that.
let's just start with the opening of their press conference that they do every year.
Possibly the best opening
Yeah, dude.
of the entire thing.
Get the fuck out of here.
And they're not
No, but it doesn't even make sense. It's like, why for that game? Just because it adds that much show.
They're not afraid to fucking make us cringe, right? With the giant panda bear and Just Dance. That's all it is. Actually, the cool thing that they did at E3 is at their booth, they hired dancers for Just Dance, and then you could go up on stage and you could play the game with and they had a bunch of 10 15 people just dancing on stage playing Just Dance. It was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be a part of that.
Yeah, I would never be a part of that. You would catch me dead up there. But yeah, so they moving on to more of their games. Looks like they have some Far Cry 5 DLC. Far Cry is one of their games that they just
Far Cry 5?
Yeah, it came out relatively recent.
The racist.
Yeah, the
yeah,
hillbilly
yeah.
American one, yeah.
I don't want to get that.
The Division 2, which I believe was playable. Now, this is what I'll say about the Division 2. It seems like what Destiny 2 was trying to sell. Because when they're doing Destiny 2, they're like, oh, the engine's too old, we want to pump out new content, etc., right? Division 2 seems like it's doing the same thing, except without all the bullshit and the scams. And they even announced that they would they're adding raids to Division 2.
Yeah, 8-man raids, which they're the actual kind of high-end missions. I never got too far into them, but later on, the actual high-end missions were actually difficult.
They fucking suck. I can tell you all about them. I can tell you all about them.
About the Division, or...
Yeah, the Division. I can tell you all about the Division.
I've always played those.
I played this game from release date. I played this game for almost a year straight, and those missions fucking sucked. You could not do anything. You could not fuck up, or else you would have to restart the entire thing. It was so bad. 2 people would be running heals, at least the way we did it was that 2 people would be running heals, and then we have 2 people running DPSing, and you would have to have
awesome.
these
What are you
abilities.
talking about?
No, Taban, this shit sucked because the ads were so tanky, and they would throw explosives in a fucking super compact area. So you couldn't run anywhere without fucking having grenades or sniper fucking tracking you across the map. In the places that were quote unquote safe, there were still spots where NPCs would randomly jump down and fucking shotgun you from behind. And it didn't even matter if you had a full set of gear.
Dude, we're
It
playing
didn't
this
even
fucking
matter.
game. This sounds awesome, dude. I love
It's
to
really
rage with you
fun if you
guys.
have like a crew, but like I was solo, so I would have to go out with like random people, and if one person fucked up, this game was not the funnest. And like the gear,
That literally sounds like Payday in like a fucking nutshell.
no, but they I'm pretty sure they fixed it, Tabe. I remember you telling me that they, but before it, the way that they did like the class gear was that you had to go out and individually you had to go and do these hard ass missions for one piece of class gear. And couldn't even have like the full class. Like you wouldn't be considered that class. Like if you had like Juggernaut boots or like backpack or chest or whatever, you wouldn't be considered having the Juggernaut class. You'd have like one perk, and the more pieces of gear that you would get, the more perks you would get for that class until you eventually got like the ultimate perk, which is like of the class
So
that you need all the
is-
gear pieces for.
Last I played, that's still in there, but they've adjusted it in such a way where getting those actual armor pieces is way easier and a lot less grindy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It was grindy.
I played
Fucking
some of the raids way after actually like you did probably, or like
No, yeah, I played a while ago. I stopped.
so I didn't get that. I got a much better experience, which shows how much they improved the game over time.
Yeah, because
Yes.
mine is like from release to like almost a year afterwards,
Yeah,
and that was when it was like super.
I played somewhat on release, but I didn't get into the really high end stuff until later on.
Dude, I kind of want to
The
pick
one
up
thing
this game.
I do have to say is like I hope they improve the actual like multiplayer areas, the PvP areas, because at first it was really fun, but eventually it got a ton of hackers. And we
Yeah,
have people just camping specific spots.
yeah. I used to run a glass cannon like loadout, and my thing is eventually what people started doing is that they just started stacking HP and because they like tanks in that game are so fucking hard to kill because your healing does like the little med packs that you have in the game. Like you can stim pack yourself or whatever, and then you also have like the healing field ability. So you have like they have like two types of healing, and then when they combine that with like just running at you with a shotgun and stack health on top of health with like the armor pieces that they have, like the shit is just obnoxious, and people always did this in like a group of four. So it'd be four people that you couldn't kill, even with like a glass cannon build. Because I used to be able to one shot people. I had like the little grenade thing, like my ability damage. I had that shit maxed out. And then I would wait for people to like try and get their loot to like from the helicopter in the dark zone. And then like I would just camp there, and then people would like wait for the chopper, and I would set up like wherever the fuck I was and just try to one shot them. And eventually it just stopped working. People just started getting gear.
Right.
But, like the PvP was fun when it first came out for sure.
But yeah, I hope they fix that in a way. But otherwise, even without that aspect of the game is still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
That's why I feel like they're
release.
doing like like what Destiny 2 should have done and improved upon what they already had, because they're adding the end game raids. They're adding more of like a more of a class system, like because now you either have I think a sniper, a grenade launcher, or
I
a crossbow.
Really like that.
Yeah.
That was the one thing, is like the classes were alright, but it did kind of feel
They're making it more like an MMO.
realized.
There was no variety in weapons.
Yeah.
When I was playing it, it was only SMGs and snipers. So you would DPS up close and kill ads with SMGs, and then you would have like some fucking critical attachments to your sniper, and then like you would just do like a shit ton of damage. Like you would scope in on like the boss's weak spot or whatever ad you were killing.
Because they said that they want to focus on like end game. There's also supposedly 3, I think, DLCs that are for free that they're announcing, or that they announced. Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
which is really nice. That's why like I look at the Division and it just makes me sad with Destiny, because like now I'd rather just go play the Division, and because I know I keep bringing up Destiny, but I just want that game to be good. Moving on, Skull and Bones, their pirate game.
Let's see if I
The
know more about
the
it, though.
Sea of Thieves killer.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves killer.
Well, here's the thing: is like Sea of Thieves is more geared towards like being able to like run around on your ship, and this is more geared towards just ship to ship combat
Mm-hmm.
without
Oh,
like the
really?
land running
Yeah.
around. As far as I'm aware.
It kind of looked like to me like they took like the Assassin's Creed ship combat and just copy and pasted it.
Which everyone loved that combat. Like people really liked that how that worked in that game, and everything that I've heard is that people actually enjoyed that. So if you can just build upon that and make a new game
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Other than that, then we had Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which actually looked really good. It is
Full
the
gameplay demo. That was
yeah. It's the sequel to Assassin's Creed Origins. Like I said before, it's a crafty name because now it's in Greece. You can play as a male or a female, which I don't know if you could have done in Origins.
no, because they were all there's a whole kerfuffle about not being able to play in I think it was Syndicate. I forget. It was one of the earlier on ones.
Oh. But Origins was really good, so I'm hoping this one kind of carries the torch. It kind of, I hope, like, I want these games to kind of bring back, like, what made Assassin's Creed so good with, like, Ezio's story. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, like, because that story was so complicated, it was more engaging, and then they kind of fell off and just made it, like, in a memory machine over and over and over again. And I want to play Origins, it's on the list, but... yeah, Odyssey looked really good. So then they had The Crew 2, which I'm pretty sure they showed off last E3.
So I've played the demo, or not the demo,
Demo's
the beta
out.
of that, and honestly, great. Like driving around and everything feels fairly the same. It may be a little looser than it was, which I'm fine with. Flying feels really nice. The boats are just kind of there. It's kind of feels a little awkward because it's limited to water, so it's just kind of like I'm a boat. All right. The switching between the actual vehicles works literally as they showed off. It's really smooth and fun. The one thing that bothers me is the voice acting in that game, and the storyline is absolutely obnoxious.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure.
literally
I'm
it's
sure.
literally about being popular, and you have to like. I couldn't play that demo or the beta without turning off the guy's voice because he would just constantly the most annoying, obnoxious voice. It's like no one would mind having Morgan Freeman narrate an entire game, right? He could be talking 24/7, and you're just like music to your ears.
Mm-hmm.
This is like nasally little kid. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just the most obnoxious voice. Every time he speaks, I want to kill myself.
Damn, that bad. Eh?
And I'm just like, for the voice that kind of narrates everything when you're like anything happens, it's the guy that tells you through the radio or whatever, like oh nice, you did the thing, or
Like
you gotta go
the
here.
hey
It's
listen
like,
from Ocarina of
yeah,
Time.
basically, like my other friends that have played the beta too all agree is like you have to turn off the voice, and it's a much more enjoyable game. And the story itself is literally about being the most popular, and everything you do gets you like followers basically. So it's like I'm inadequate and not good enough unless I'm the most popular of the video game, which I, it's just obnoxious. It's like I would much prefer the stereotypical like I must be the number one racer over the I must be the most popular, which is literally how they work in like the stunts and shit. Which whatever.
Hmm.
That's my rant.
Then they had For Honor stuff, which I think Kane said it, that they're just adding a better like siege mode. I think they're adding like some Chinese warriors. I believe that's what the trailers were.
Only it's a lot better than you.
Yeah, For Honor was one of those games that had a rocky start. But I mean, like that's what I feel like Ubisoft is like, kind of their MMO. Like Square Enix's MMO is just like delaying shit and then coming out with a great game, and then Ubisoft is coming out with a shit game and then working on it to get better. It just seems to happen a lot. After that, we had what everyone's hopes and dreams were when they showed the Star Fox stuff. Starlink. It was playable at their booth and on the Switch. I did not get to play it. I honestly have no thoughts about this game. It looks like
It looked dumb as fuck.
it looks like No Man's Sky, but you never get out
You're gonna
of your
make you
fucking.
pay so much for just plastic bits to put on your controller.
Yeah, there's toys too.
You kidding me?
Yeah, I would honestly be kind of interested in the game if it wasn't for the external bits that you have to buy.
Well, it seems like a kid's game. Like it's not meant for us. Like it's
No,
really
well,
not
I
meant
mean,
for us.
I don't know about that because it's like, didn't Nintendo come out with like the cardboard shit? What was that? And it's like,
Labo.
Oh,
That was a
yeah,
flop.
it's like
It was a flop.
it was hilarious.
Yeah. But
did
Nintendo's
Nintendo
different.
do?
I mean, like at least they try shit, man. At least Nintendo has the balls to try things,
Nintendo does have the biggest balls.
and then they learn from their mistakes. But I mean, Starlink. It looks like No Man's Sky, but like you never get out of your ship. That's what it looks like. So I don't know. It could be interesting. I don't think it's a game made for us, so to speak.
nope.
After that, Transference. I do not remember this game at the press conference.
Yeah.
Mario's plus Rabbids. They have DLC, which is the whole Donkey Kong DLC.
Mhm.
That game was apparently
Fucking-
really good. Apparently, people
Yeah.
enjoyed that game.
People,
Yeah,
like,
it was basically a kid RPG, kid Final Fantasy,
except-
like an introduction to turn-based.
No, it was more like an XCOM.
Yeah, I think
Really?
it's more like an XCOM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Because they have like the movement aspect, and then they have like it's basically XCOM. You know how XCOM has like range.
I love a XCOM. I'm
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like the turn-based shit, and then whether or not you hit them, shit like that.
Yeah. Then they
Just Dance.
had Just Dance.
back
You
there.
know, whatever. You know they're still making it for the Kinect. I saw it at the end of the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See?
Fucking
Okay,
Connect.
three.
It's like, whoa, dude, what? I mean, that's probably like they're probably just making it for the Kinect. I bet you. I don't understand why they just don't make like one Just Dance and then they just update it with like DLC over and over again.
Is there the PlayStation 4 has the movement
PlayStation.
controls,
It
right?
has those ball things, yeah, but nobody uses those unless you're like using VR. I think it's like balls on a stick, but PlayStation's always had that. After that, we have Trials Rising. That presentation, oh my god, that was
Was that the really awkward one?
yeah, it's the one who rode in on the bike and then he fell. The telegraph fall onto the pedestal, and then his name was
to do that.
his name was like Professor Fat Dude or something like that. Like his title was
Professor
like
Fat Dude.
really weird. It was something
Like,
like
they could have just let Rooster Teeth play this game, and they would have been
Could've had
fine.
Jack Patillo just come out on stage.
That's who that guy reminded me of.
yeah. It was,
Well, Jack Patillo, if you actually watch, he's in there at one point.
I believe it.
In
He
the
likes Trials.
little, in the little like clip they showed of like the people helping out, he's in there.
yeah, because they said that they had like a team that was just working on like tutorials or something.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
they spent a lot of time at that
They had a lot of
game.
people, like testing out, and if you watch, Jack Patillo's in there.
I like that guy.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, the presentation, I thought the game was great. The opening presentation was a little odd, but I feel like that's what they were going for. I thought actually it fits the Trials theme. I feel like.
You can't fucking deny them and fucking tripping on
Dude, I thought that was
That
real
was
for a
pretty
second.
funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny,
what?
dude.
That shit was
When he
funny as
fell,
shit.
it would have been funny if it was like a real thing. But then you're like, oh, that's telegraphed.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
If it
though.
wasn't
like,
telegraphed,
could've
it
been
would have
fun.
been really funny.
They showed a fucking trailer for it. They would have, because the trailer just shows you what it is. It's Trials. Like, no one's gonna expect anything super duper crazy game changing. Like, oh, I haven't seen this before. It's fucking Trials.
Yeah,
and
but the
mechanics doing
presentation
stuff.
was actually pretty good. So then they have Space Junkies, Or Space Junkie. Yeah, I said that right. I don't not remember that
Hey,
either.
Yogi.
Isn't it like a VR one?
Is it? It may be.
Yes, it is. I think
When they
Uh,
announced for Rainbow Six?
I don't know what they announced for Rainbow Six.
nothing good.
Oh,
A new fucking operation map.
Well, I'm sure. Doesn't it have like a zombie mode now? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, don't fucking even get me started with that shit. It's not even good. Like, I don't know why people keep following the zombie format. It's just mindless mob farming, and it's like, it's not fun. And like, the whole point of that game is to be working with friends to actually be taking out an actual like intricate threat. And it's just like, why are we there just aimlessly shooting at things? Like, this is no different from like fucking Killing Floor or any other shooting game. It deals with like, it's not fun.
I love me some Killing Floor.
Okay, it's fun. It's just I'm saying, you know, that's not meant for Rainbow Six Siege. It's just they've been going on a slow incline down. Not
Be
good.
a decline.
So then they have Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
It looks interesting.
People say they've been waiting for that game, right?
Yeah, I heard about this a while ago. Like I heard that, but the only reason I heard about it is because this game was the first one was made in 2002. Now there's a second one in 2018. Like that's the only reason like I heard about it.
I mean,
Because,
the first one was kind of a cult following, and the second one, I mean, it looks nice as hell. So
Yeah, it looks
See how
like
it
it'd be
goes.
fun. I thought it was kind of cool of
Isn't the
them.
open world supposed to be like super fucking huge?
I don't know about that one, but I know they were trying to add like your art can be in the game.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Which is I thought it was like it's a cool idea, but it's also kind of weird to like sell your assets like that into the game. Like from an artist standpoint, I feel like I would never do that unless like they credit you. But they
Yeah,
should
that's
credit you,
true.
yeah.
I feel like they would do that. No, you feel like if you hover over it, like your crosshair, it just
Yeah, it should. But it's like it's supposed to be like if you like let's say you take like a little sketch, then like you can put it into like the wall, like on a wall, like graffiti in the game or something like that.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I wonder how they're gonna do it because I know there's no way that they're just gonna fucking have like a blank textured wall and just like copy paste stuff. They have to blend it.
Hmm.
I'm wondering how that'll work.
Yeah, and they probably have to maybe alter it, or maybe you get to choose like where it goes.
I wonder if they're gonna let like see my problem was that with that is that actually it's not really a problem. I want to see how it turns out because what if someone sends in like some furry shit from
Well, they have to. Yeah, they have to block it. Like you can't put like porn. Actually,
no one's gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna draw a really detailed dick here. So yeah, just toss it on the wall right now.
Veins and all, baby.
But that's what I mean though. Like how do you know?
They're gonna filter it. They had a whole little presentation with what's his name, that actor came out with a site that like you can
yeah, like you have to
Oh.
submit it.
artists on. Yeah,
Oh,
you submit
okay.
it there under this like certain tag, and then it might get added, like music, art, whatever.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, I agree. Perspective of why would you do
After Beyond Good and Evil 2, we already talked about the crew too, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that covers Ubisoft. Then we go to the PC gaming show.
This is a giant clusterfuck.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking we can pass it, because it's a lot of.
There's one thing I would like to point out in that, and which is Anno 1880, because that wasn't shown anywhere else,
Mhm.
as well as Ooblets, because those two games are on my radar quite a bit.
Yeah,
Anno 1880 finally going back to like olden times, not in the future, so I'm hoping
No?
that turns
Okay.
out good.
the PC gaming show just has like it's really for like small time indie people or things that like have already been announced, or somewhat big titles that aren't super big, like Warframe's on there, Killing Floor's on there.
Mm-hmm.
and kind of tech demos as well. A lot of tech
There
demos.
was one other game that looked really cool. I do not remember what it was called.
Realm Royale is also on there. It's yeah, and then you can always like whenever you watch PC gaming, you can always know something weird like is gonna go wrong, which happened with like the mic thing in that doctor's game.
Is your stethoscope
no,
canceling
Two
out
Point
the
Hospital
microphone?
looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
That hospital game actually looks amazing.
Yeah, it reminded me of the prison game, Prison Architect.
Yeah, which I played the shit out of. They actually just updated that as well.
So
There's one other game that's like a building game. See it on you. At least the name isn't. Oh, Satisfactory. That game looks really good too. Satisfactory, Hospital or 2 Point Hospital, and Anno 1880 and Ooblets are the four that really stood out to me on that entire show.
right.
I haven't seen those. I'll definitely look into them.
I'll look into them too. Moving on to the Japanese, Sony.
Taban, why don't you hold me like that?
You're talking about the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
I'm talking about The Last of Us.
Oh, come on, dude. Yeah, maybe because we're not The Last of Us. Maybe that's why. So, this presentation for the Sony press conference was really weird. It was really weird this year. Because they were like in a tent, and then they like moved to like a church, and then they had like the whole talk show, and then the Russian hackers hacked them. It was weird. It was weird. I don't know what they were kind of yeah, they were just trying something new, and I don't think it worked for them. I enjoy these press conferences. Yeah, I enjoy these press conferences because they're not talking, showing gameplay, talking, you know, and the cringy stuff doesn't happen like that. They just show the games and they're just like, well, that's it. They started off with The Last of Us Part 2. Looks great. I mean, when we were watching the trailers, you guys got so many reactions. They got so many reactions from you guys.
Yeah, I really enjoy that game.
Made me wanna.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it made me wanna go back and play the first to Last of Us over again.
I'm sorry, my cat is interesting right now. What are you doing?
Would you buy the game? Are you looking forward to it?
I would definitely buy it. I definitely want to play it. I want to see how they changed it from the first one, because the first one was like faction based, and like you could play multiple, and you would like increase your faction. I think you were either like Fireflies or I don't remember what the opposing was.
The interesting thing too about it is that we didn't see any zombies in the gameplay.
Yeah,
trailer.
a lot of it was around people. So I'm wondering if that's still gonna be like a problem. Like if there's still zombies, I'm pretty sure there will.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's still zombies. Cause as a kid, that was kind of added like a little bit of a fear factor for me. Yeah,
because the first one wasn't really that focused around zombies either. Like it wasn't. It was just a part of like the environment and like the storyline. There was no like zombie boss that you had to fight or anything like that.
Right, they were like they're an added like anomaly into the story. Because you would encounter humans, or you encounter zombies, and then humans would show up, or you encounter humans, and then zombies would show up. Then we had Spider-Man. I actually did get to play Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I think it's gonna. What are you guys' thoughts on Spider-Man before I go?
Judging from what you've already told me and what I've seen from the gameplay demo, the combat acts similarly to Batman. That's what you're calling me, except for the fact that you can fly across the fucking room and take enemies out from just like a mile away. How was the how do I say it? The tech, like the tech upgrades. Like, was there anything noticeable with that in terms of the combat too?
I didn't really play with them. I think there was like 2 of them you can play with. Really, you can just kind of like spew your webs over some dude and just kind of tie him up. The combat for me, like, one, you have to get this through your head. If you're thinking it's gonna be an Arkham game, get that out of your head. It's not going to be an Arkham game. Spider-Man does not carry the same badassness, the same, fucking damn, dude, like that Batman does. Like when Batman punches people in an Arkham game, Spider-Man is more like slapping people. It's not. It's not. It doesn't feel like when Arkham, like when you're punching people, it's Spider-Man slapping people.
You feel the girth.
Right, and like the Batman combat system. The Batman combat system is more like rhythm, and like getting the combo up to use your specials. Spider-Man was more about just trying to hit things and not get hit because there's no counter system. There's only a dodge system to use your super jizz move, which is like you spray your webs. Yeah, you spray your webs like everywhere, and they'll just instantly all get knocked out.
Spray your web everywhere.
It's like I said, there's no flow to it. Like Batman, like you can fly across the map and you can keep going. Like there's a rhythm to it because it was originally supposed to be a rhythm combat system. Spider-Man's not like that. Like you actually have to hit a button to fly to people. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no rhythm to it like Batman, which is kind of a turn off for me. Which is why I don't think like this is why I say if you're gonna think it's gonna be an Arkham game, it's not. Don't think about it like that.
Yeah, a lot of it seems to be based around just like his movement and the webs. And when you see like his spider senses, you kind of have to just spam dodge.
Exactly.
But I mean, what about like the swinging mechanics of the game?
So they take a second to get used to.
Do you think like once he gets used to it, do you think it's like smooth?
I think it's smooth once you get used to it. So how it works is that like to actually swing, to run up buildings, to run on the side of buildings, you have to hold R2. So you hold and release R2, at least on the PlayStation, to swing and actually swing. But to like kind of like propel yourself forward and like go super fast, you tap X. And then there's like a lot of like kind of things that you can do with the webs. Like it's really web oriented. Like in combat, you can like pull like car doors to you and like swing them around or swing grenades around. But then you have to hit like both of the not the triggers, but I think it's the joysticks at the same time. So it feels really weird to like kind of navigate with the web swinging, but once you get used to it, it feels a little bit better. So, moving on from Spider-Man, the ghost of Sakumi, I can't even. I'm so sorry.
You're disrespecting Japanese culture, Taban.
Alright, you want to say it, dude?
Tsushima.
Tsushima, there you go. It looked interesting.
I fucking forgot. Hold on, let me look at this shit again.
It was
Oh, right.
It was the samurai game. Yes. It looks like no. It looks like
no. This is what I wanted to say. I enjoyed this combat over Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, like it looks like
saying something.
Like they looked like it was from Batman, like with the actual counter and strike system. They even stole from Batman with like the sneaky insta knockout system in the trailer.
I feel like this is stealing more from what's it called? For Honor than from Batman. Anything. I mean, no. This is what I think it is. It's For Honor, but made into Batman.
Right. But I think it's good. We got a lot of Japanese style games, because From Software also had a maybe that they released it on Xbox. I don't know if we talked about it. We may have missed it, but it was like a Japanese sort of like no arm, and then that other Dark Souls type game too. What's it called? King, you'd know the name. Uh, Fuck, it's not coming to me right now. But yeah, that game looked really good. It looks interesting. After that, we had Death Stranding. Good old Kojima.
Keep coming. Dun, dun, dun.
Honestly, I don't know what to think about this game.
Dun, 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 dun. Here's the problem with it. They're being a little bit too ominous to the point where people are starting to lose interest.
I think that's part of the problem.
I'm not one of those people. I still find the storyline very interesting and I want to get a chance to play the game. But for a lot of other people, it's becoming annoying and it's just getting to a point where it's like
I think
not really providing anything. And it's like this is the case I made, especially in the last podcast too. I said that after once they released more content at E3, they were probably gonna show more gameplay trailers and other stuff as well as the game leads up to its launch.
right. But here's
But yeah, right now it's in a ditch.
that's part of the problem with it. They didn't have a release date for it, and then like the stuff that they showed us was really tech demo-y. Like it wasn't like any combat or anything like that. It was just kind of walking throughout the world. Even like the whole thing was like you're trying to avoid these monsters. I mean, that's like it was like,
Yeah.
that's not really anything to show. I mean, what's going on? I mean, he hasn't given us anything, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I said, like last episode, I said that Sony gave him power to create whatever he wants. I feel like Sony may have, given him too much power to create whatever he wants.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case, and that just ends up being like what it is at the end of the day. I mean, the other thing to consider too is just,
Because if the game's not ready, don't tease the game.
yeah.
Even if if
Yeah,
needed to show up,
but then that's a flaw more or
Yeah.
less. Yeah.
yeah. But if even if it didn't show up like this at this year's E3 and they told us okay it's not ready, I would not be mad about that. I would be like okay cool I can wait. But now that they showed us, it's kind of like where is this going?
Yeah.
I remember reading on Twitch chat, people were saying that they're just a delivery boy the whole time.
Yeah, you are. You're absolutely right. Because that's all the tech demo showed is that you're just a fucking delivery boy, just fucking delivering pizzas with like babies, and there's some women following you and some creepy monsters. So it's
I
like
just don't know. I don't know how it plays in terms of like the video game realm. Like for movies, you need to have a.
Oh
good
yeah, I
story
feel like
before
it'd be
you
like
have,
a cool.
anything else, right? But
Mhm.
when it comes to video games, it's like, okay, does it come to like a little bit of the story and a little bit of the gameplay, or mostly the story? And it's like you can still have like a fucking shitty game that it's like, but it doesn't work that well, the same way. It's like.
Right, like at least tell us what type of game it's trying to be.
Yeah. Here's my problem with it. If it's a story-based game, then it should stay committed to that. But if it's trying to like do something completely different and just like diverge within those two realms, then that I feel like it could get risky and the game might not live up to its full potential.
So after Death Stranding, they showed more Kingdom Hearts. They announced the Resident Evil 2 remake, which is kind of cool. Soul Calibur, Destiny 2 Forsaken, which I've honestly at this point I'm losing hope in Destiny. I think this Forsaken shit. I'm about to Forsaken this game for real. I mean, like it's. I stood in the line. I got to play it. They were the worst. Activision and them were the worst booth that I got to play. They were the worst. Even some dude I met in the Uber was saying like he stood in the line for Call of Duty and it was awful. because they were just taxing. They were just like taxing people like important in to play the game. So it was, yeah, and then like the whole past year with Destiny 2 and the whole scams, and even though like now the game's better, it's still, I think, in not as best as a state as the original Destiny ended in, and I still find it boring as fuck. Even with all the shit that they've added, it's like, I don't know. It's like I made the mistake of pre-ordering Destiny 2 because I thought they were gonna do the thing that they said that they were gonna do, the thing that I think the Division 2 is doing, and so the whole argument was that we can't pump out content as fast as we can with the current Destiny engine, so we're making Destiny 2 so you guys can have more content. That didn't really happen. They ended up screwing up the game, and Curse of Osiris was the worst DLC they ever fucking released. It was nothing. It was a waste of money, and I paid fucking, how much was the season pass? It was, let's say, I think it was like $30 for the season pass, but I bought the entire game too. So I bought like the digital deluxe edition, which is like $100, and then I get fucking Curse of Osiris.
Oh.
That was not worth the $100. That was awful. And then they give me Warmind, which is a little bit better, but it's still not. It's awful. And then the vanilla game is still awful. So now we're entering the fucking big one, which is Forsaken, and Forsaken is $40, right? And then there's another season pass, which is $30. So it just seems like a big giant fucking scam now. It's like they're repeating history that shouldn't be repeated, and it just seems like a scam. Meanwhile, the Division 2 is like, okay, we're really focusing on endgame here. We're making the Division 2, and you guys get 3 DLCs for free. So that's why I'm like, Destiny 2 is kind of, even playing this fucking like game mode, it was best. The games lasted like 8 minutes. It was best out of 3. The other team fucking sucked. So we won instantly. I swear to God, I was doing all the work, but this one kid on my team kept invading them, which didn't even matter because like you didn't even know like how to invade. Like it didn't tell you at all. And then he got some shitty ass interview. You didn't get time to really experiment with weapons. The bows archetype that they're adding kind of felt like underpowered. It kind of sucked. And what else? Oh, they were like, so every other booth was like, oh yeah, you can take pictures of the screen. We don't give a shit. And at Activision, they were like, oh, we don't want you to take pictures of the screen because we want high quality pictures out there. Nigga, what? Like really? I mean, all the photos are in 27 or are in HD now. All photos are in HD. So how does that make any sense whatsoever? So like that's why until this comes out, until the day of Forsaken comes out, until the honeymoon period is over with Forsaken, I'm not buying it. So then they had Controller, which I think is a VR type game, and then that concludes Sony. And then we go into, people are really disappointed in it, but I think they did a good job. Nintendo, Mario Party. Huh? Super Mario Party. What do you guys think of Mario Party?
Always good to bring the boys together with some Mario Party.
Always good to ruin some friendships with some Mario Party. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to end some relationships. What are y'all talking about?
Oh no.
I think it's needed. It's been a while since a Mario Party.
Yeah.
I'm happy it's coming out for the Switch, because that means you can just play it whenever. At least with 2 people. I don't know. It's 4. They added some cool mechanics where like every character now has like a special die that they can roll.
This actually looks cool.
Yeah, it looks really fun. Like because I'm excited that they add Mario Party back because we haven't had one I think since like the Wii.
I have to buy a Switch.
Then we had some Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, which I'm happy to see because that was a great game. Fire Emblem, Three Houses, which apparently won't be localized or something like that. Fortnite for the Switch.
I heard it has like the same quality as mobile.
Yeah, my friend played it. The controls are really kind of wonky. Cause like, Nintendo controls just feel like different. But it's really kind of wonky. And then like I feel like the whole PlayStation thing and Sony thing really kind of stirred the pot as well.
What does that mean?
You didn't hear about this?
No, I heard about it, but I didn't know the details.
So Sony blocked crossplay between the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation. So if you play on PlayStation, like with all your skins and all that, and then you go play on your Switch, you can't.
Oh,
Like you can't. So because of this, and people, I think the ex head of PlayStation was saying like it was a money reason. Because of this, Xbox and Nintendo are now like teaming up on like this whole crossplay thing, and they're leaving Sony out. I think it's because of how basically Japan, and either you have a PlayStation in Japan or you have a Nintendo Switch. I think that's the reason. So it's one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where both the companies are based. That's like, maybe not their primary market, but it's probably a big part of their market. So then they had Hollow Knight. I think it's coming to the Switch, which is always cool to see indie games go to the Switch. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which it's weird. I honestly don't know what it is. It's weird. It's like Pokemon Go, but for the Switch.
Pokemon, let's go to the polls.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's really weird. It was playable. I didn't get to play it, but because I'm gonna play fucking Smash Bros, dude. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Smash Bros was their main focus on E3. That was their selling point. Even they knew Nintendo booth was amazing. Half of it was competitive Smash. The other half was casual Smash. They're really pushing esports for Smash. And I honestly can't tell you how it is because I never really played Smash and I was too busy getting my ass whooped. But it was really fun. It was really cool to see it.
Yeah, Nintendo's sponsoring the fuck out of Smash, and they're trying to make it more like a competitive. And they even have it so like the final smashes. They're trying to make it like special move like that because it's like the Smash Ball is always like items in general. Smash Bros. And then on top of that, they like emphasized that now it's like, oh, like once you get a smash, it's like this combo that's like it's like hit and run. Like you don't have to. There's no like super long ultimates anymore. It's all just like it's like really fast. Like it's not it's what's it called? You don't have to control it because they took out all of the movement ones. Like Sonic shit was like you controlled Sonic and he would run around, like he would fly around the map and do damage. Now it's like it's just this. He just like affects the map and flies around the map, and then you go right back into fighting.
Right.
And then they even made it so that when people use moves, there's a lot less lag. So when you would hit someone in a move like when Smash, just like say Smash 4. Smash 4 was like really. There's a lot of very like floaty, jumpy air dodging is free as fuck in that game. You can air dodge over and over again and like not get punished for it at all.
Yeah, same with
And
the perfect shield. Like they added
yeah,
the
they fixed that in Smash Ultimate. They have it so that the more and more frames of invincibility that you have, and then on top of that, they have it so that there's directional air dodge now, which is something that they didn't have in Smash 4, but they had in Melee. And I don't know, like there's more fast-paced moves. Everything comes out faster, and I'm pretty sure they have wave landing now. So like
yeah.
it's not wave landing is like when you air dash towards the ground to like help you get there faster.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Nintendo is all behind this too. Like when competitive Smash came around, the big event that Smash had, like I think it was Evo. Like Smash 4 at Evo was on a Sunday, and like to have a game Sunday is like that's one of the big games. Like it's a big event game, and so that's why it was like shown on like Disney XD. And then Nintendo finally
Yeah. They
playing
had
this game
they
competitively
in
and shit
the
like that.
in the morning they had an interventional. It was just a tournament on the new Smash, like professional.
Yeah,
Smash
they
players,
invited
yeah.
all the pro Smash players. Invitational, the first one that they had
Yeah,
a long time ago, and then they had the other invitational, Smash Ultimate, which is like all these players from like Brawl, Melee, and Smash 4. So it's supposed to be a game that's like going to unify the community because the community is really split. You either are a Smash 4 player or you're a Melee player. There's like very few people who are in between. So this game I think is like supposed to be like the fucking peace treaty and like
yeah.
everyone comes together and just plays Smash.
I'm definitely picking it up. Cause like that was the big kind of esports thing. The other big esports thing was the Fortnite AM or whatever it's called. Other than Smash, they had Splatoon 2. Like,
Yeah, the Splatoon character.
They had
What are
yeah.
you talking about?
Well, yeah, that and the game just got an expansion.
Oh, for Splatoon.
Yeah, and it's running into some problems too because currently the multiplayer is free, but it's about to go paid with Nintendo Online.
Oh yeah.
Which is also, you know, you're gonna have to buy that to play Smash Online.
Fuck that.
But it's like not that bad. I think it's like $10 for like the year.
It's definitely way cheaper.
Yeah, it's way cheaper than Xbox and PlayStation.
But it's still like, why though?
Yeah.
Like your service has been free like the entirety.
Well, they have to do that. They have to do that.
I guess. But I don't know.
I would rather play $10 than like
I
the
feel
60
like
that I'm
it's
paying
only
now.
because that Nintendo has finally a multiplayer community. Because up until recently,
Yeah, especially like Mario Kart 2.
yeah, like
And
Nintendo's
then,
only been focused around story games, single player games, and party games.
and the same with Mario Party now, so it's gonna be interesting. And then
You can have Mario Party Online.
the last one that they announced was Overcooked 2.
What's Overcooked? I didn't see that one.
It's like a weird, like kind of like indie cooking game.
Oh, is it like Cooking Mama?
Kinda.
Cooking a mama, I'm a fucker your mom.
That is not how that game.
So then we kind of conclude our. So yeah, that's basically it with the E3 coverage. I think. Overall, what are your thoughts of this year's E3?
Honestly, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
Yeah, it definitely could have gone a lot worse. I'm pretty. I mean, I'm happy with some of the titles that they've announced, and I'm pretty excited for some of these games, especially Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, I just. Yeah, I don't know really what to say. I mean, I'm not really disappointed this year. They came out with some decent titles.
Yeah, I was really happy with it, but like, let me tell you this: it's very different going and then watching. You get kind of two different experiences. Cause then, like because I feel like, and I'm good. This is what my rant's gonna be about. But like, I feel like watching it, you see all the cool stuff, and you kind of get on the hype train. But then going, you kind of get to experience kind of the bullshit, and then you get to also kind of experience like more of the hype train. So it's two different experiences. I can't wait to go next year, and I do hope you guys come with me.
I will.
It's a lot of fun. It's really overwhelming at first. My favorite part is standing in 2.5 hour lines.
Oh,
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But yeah. Any last words, closing remarks?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching this episode. I hope you really enjoyed E3. I hope you enjoyed, our E3 coverage. We're looking forward to playing all these games. Follow us on social media. It's notasports.com. On Instagram, all that good shit. Subscribe, leave a comment. Y'all know the deal. I hope you enjoyed this episode of It's Not a Sport. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube, our Instagram, etc., all that social media. And tune in next week for another great episode of It's Not a Sport. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.